Welcome to the MJ38 show, MJ38 podcast, episode number 3.5. I don't even know what's going on with that. More to be disclosed on that later at a later date. We'll see if we can salvage that one. But welcome in. Hopefully your day is going amazing. It's I don't know. I guess if you're just watching this, or if you're just listening to this, you're not watching this, so you can't really see. But we're kind of dressed up because it's I guess a little allusion to today's Sunday, a little out of our different regimen. But yeah, went to church today, dressed up a little bit, so we're wearing some button-ups on the pod. If you care to watch, go check it out on YouTube.
And our Sunday best.
Sunday best.
Yes.
That's but I love the church that we went to because, we were in San Antonio. We went to the church called CBC, and it's like one of the biggest churches in San Antonio for sure.
That's what I was talking to my dad about. I think so.
Has he heard of it? Your dad's a pastor, right?
Yes, my dad is a pastor.
Okay, so he's like in the church game.
In the trenches.
In the theology game.
Very deep.
He knows what's up.
Went to school. Educated formally.
PhD?
Yeah, he's also streetwise with Jesus. He's done a lot of things in his life and helped a lot of people. Really committed his life to,
doing the thing.
Working for God. Working for God's kingdom.
Trying to do some good.
Yeah.
Trying to do some good. But so he knows or he's heard about CBC?
He had it. I think he had a headache, so he was like racking his brain. He's like, maybe I've heard of it, maybe I haven't. But but he was like, go on. He just wanted to hear about the service and how it went and stuff like that.
Okay, but yeah, so we went to CBC, but I guess I love that church. It's super chill, I want to say, is the word I want to use. Because, I guess we're kind of dressed up, and I do believe in the idea of a Sunday best, trying to get dressed up for church or to present your best self is kind of, I guess, the idea behind that. Why would you why would you dress up to go to church?
Yeah,
so present your best self is kind of this, the subliminal idea behind that.
Definitely. I have two things. I definitely want to, step with your best foot forward. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a thing in the Bible that stuck with me about giving your best to God. Mm-hmm. Not giving him your seconds or your thirds or your fourths, your leftovers. Give your best to God and then you work with the rest. And so when I think about how I want to dress on Sunday, it's my best. I want to dress my best. And also it's out of respect for all week I'm asking for help and I get help all week. And then on the Lord's Day, I'm I really want to show up, pay respect for the help that I got.
For sure. Yeah, so I definitely believe in that. But within this church, it's super, super chill, super laid back. We're probably some of the most dressed up people there.
Yeah, I felt a little overdressed for sure. I'm also come from a traditional church background. I looked up to the people that sat in church and they were really wise characters and they showed up every week and they were devout Christians and I just really respected them. And they dressed in suits and ties and stuff like that. So I guess I wanted to be that. So then I guess that's...
It's business professional.
Yeah, business professional. That's what I saw.
Yeah, and you had alluded to this earlier, but we kind of dress up for work. We work in the restaurant industry, as we had mentioned, but we work for House more specifically. It's a really, really nice steakhouse in San Antonio. Arguably, I think, the best steakhouse in San Antonio. Best restaurant in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk my shit.
Yeah, number one.
But we dress up. Button up, tie, vest. We're looking all right. And all the managers and maitre d's are wearing jackets and blazers.
Yep.
So, it's business professional.
Yeah, very tight.
That's our everyday.
Yeah, very sleek business professional. Not laid back. People dress sharp.
High and tight with the ties.
Yes. And so in my own mind, I think to myself... I don't want to be dressing up for work because it kind of feels like it's taking something out of me. I feel I don't have a lot of control. If in my life I'm I dress up for work and then I'm a bum the rest of my time.
The 5 to 9.
Yeah, and then when I am my best self, it's all in service to someone else's goals, which is good. I want to do that, but then it doesn't I want to empower myself. So
just for the job you want kind of shit.
Yes, exactly. So in my own time, what I tell myself is I dress down for work. And this is how I dress. This is how I carry myself. This is my level of professionalism. I take myself this seriously to some degree. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. A lot of people say, I don't like someone who takes themselves so seriously. And I also want to have that looseness to me. But even
it's a balance.
I think Lex Friedman said that he would want to wear a suit if he knew it was his last day on earth. He would definitely wear a suit because it calls something out of him. He
act like you're someone who wears a suit. What do people in suits do? They get shit done.
Yeah, you be professional.
Deals. They shake hands.
Yeah, you show up. You look a man in his eye when you talk to him. You know what I'm saying? It just is that thing, and I like to tap into that. I feel I want to channel that mode of behavior into myself as much as possible, so that when I'm at a moment of I'm actually being tested, I've trained. I do lean more towards professional because I spent more of my free time being a professional. Mm-hmm. It's not I'm putting on a facade when I'm at work. And that's another thing about my temperament at a table. It's I'm not, this is not a facade. I am this professional. I speak like this all the time. I'm really...
I carry myself like this for real.
Yeah, and so it's easier for me to be like that because outside of work, I really do sit with more of a bird's eye view in my own mind because of the way I dress and stuff like that. That's some of the cool things about clothes and just your style and how you carry yourself. you can really define your physiology and I think like how your brain works.
Yeah, absolutely. Like dress good, play good.
Yeah, feel good, get paid good.
Yeah.
All that, man.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, look good, feel good, play good for sure. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Especially as a young athlete, I didn't like it when coaches wouldn't let us have swag. Like no shooter sleeves, no, you gotta wear. There's some guys that are like, we're tucking in our shirts. You're wearing the team socks.
Yeah.
I don't want no face paint.
Team shoes.
Don't come in here asking for attention. And like a lot of young kids probably need that message. I don't want to shit on that message. But when you let a kid that works really hard all week, like have his, like whatever it is that makes him feel like kind of more confident, that confidence is like, some people struggle with that. And sometimes an outfit can give you that confidence. You can see yourself as that person because you're wearing that outfit. Mm-hmm. And because you see it, you believe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's all connected. The way you dress and hold yourself is like the metaphysically connected to, how you physically hold yourself is metaphysically connected to how you hold yourself in the spiritual realm.
You know? Whatever you would call that. Where you're actually...
Are you spiritually yoked?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't... Spiritually yoked would just mean you answer to the call of the test in your life over and over again. You don't shy away from the contact that is the chaos that goes on. You uphold your responsibilities and things like that, and you give your glory upward. You don't become too prideful, like all the things that would make you like a good servant to the Lord. Like spiritually yoked is I aim to be. I'm trying to be spiritually. Absolutely. I think sanctified is like freak in the gym of the spiritual world.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I'd like
to
be.
Realm.
Get to the chopper level.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went to CBC this morning, so it's a little different vibe for the pod. But yeah, feeling good, looking good. Had a good little service. I think I love what he was talking about. I love because I guess I don't know. Growing up, I never really went to church, and I guess we were raised Catholic is like my religion, like my mom's religious ties, and like she goes to church a lot more now. But yeah, I guess growing up we didn't really have the time, and I guess we were moving a lot when I was younger. You know, my family was growing, and then we kept on moving a lot. So I never really settled down and like went to church very often, but so I never really went growing up. But like I've gone a couple times in my adult life, and this particular church is just like I want to say chill. That's like the overall vibe I want to give. But it has the impactful message as well. Like our pastor, I don't even remember his name. I think it was Marquise.
Yeah.
But he was going in. Like he was just I would just watch him on YouTube. Yeah, or like if he was like scrolling through Instagram and they clipped like a minute and a half of his sermon.
Yeah.
Like it would have grabbed and held my attention.
I think so.
Sure. I think that's
I didn't thought about that, but that's true.
Important part of church.
Why is that?
Is the ability to actually, because I think communication is like a two-way street. So you need to have like the message and like the person sending the message and the person receiving the message. And like if the person's not receiving the message, like it doesn't matter how pure the message is, you know. And I think the ability to make that message more transferable and an easier line of communication is to make it, I guess, relatable, or because some people have like a stigma behind church or what they think behind church, or like I guess religion, organized religion, and everything has like its downfalls and its bad sides. But I think everyone kind of has like a negative stigma about church. Not everyone, but a large portion, a majority of people.
That's the problem. I think in culture, there's just not God has a bad negative connotation per se, but definitely like the foundational church, traditional church, like the building, like the word capital C church has this really like, I guess the vibe would be like it's wrong, like they're corrupt or they're like deceitful or they're like taking advantage.
For sure, I think
and
not who they claim to be.
Exactly.
They don't want to be tricked.
There's an easy philosophy to say like God isn't trapped in walls anywhere. And I think that's super true. I was even talking to my dad on the phone about it because the thing I respect about my dad is in 20, 30 years ago, if you wanted to devote your life to God or Christ, not the smart thing, but the move was to go to theology school and try to become ordained so that way you can be placed in a church and learn how to preach. So he went down that route because that was like the funnel for what you could do. But now the problem with the churches are that they're splitting so much and so often that the traditional church in a lot of small towns are like falling apart and they're collapsing like a business that can't support itself and closing. And the other thing is that like you need to be able to go somewhere sometimes. Like a gym is great because it's hard to work out at home. At home, you're yourself. But if you can make a decision to go to the gym, you can become the person who decided
going to the gym.
Exactly. And then you get to the gym and you're not the same person who was sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
So when you go to church, it's just committing to just the going part is when you can have that moment of transformation.
I'm in pursuit of the highest spirit.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Whatever.
I'm showing up. That's all you can ask of
I'm trying to
anybody.
show up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
trying to make it here on time.
We need the church, in my opinion, and my dad's opinion too. But it has this connotation of being corrupt and deceitful for whatever. I mean, a lot of it is like allegations with the Catholic Church and stuff like that. If we're being, I keep it a buck. Like in culture, that's a big part of like there's like a stain in our mind over what like the church is.
There's like a whole movie about it, yeah.
Yeah, there's several movies and documentaries. Some fucked up shit going on. Like I'm not cool with that shit. Like
not okay.
Yeah, a lot of organized corruption for sure. Just like I watched a documentary about FIFA. Like a lot of organized corruption.
Was it on Netflix?
Yeah,
I think I saw a preview about it, and I think what was it the partially what brought up or surfaced the interest of investigating the corruption. I guess the decision to have it in Qatar this past.
FIFA? I think that's why the documentary got released and pushed and published so much was because
so quickly too.
Yeah, like social pushback because of it was corrupt to take it to Qatar, and they were like, FIFA's been corrupt for a minute, dog. Like, let's do it, let's do it all. Let's run the front page media. Let's get them this time.
So, but you watched it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was crazy.
Okay, I never saw it, but I just saw like the preview. Was like it's some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah, if you can imagine Peaky Blinders, like.
I can imagine that.
That's what it made me think of. Like Peaky Blinders when they're doing like the political organizations and they're setting up like, how do we figure out how to take more money here? How do we figure out how to like reformat what it means to get a television contract? And then what happens when we put a World Cup in a country and they don't have like a television contract like a normal country does? Like how much money can be made there because there's no precedent for that. So they became an organization that was setting all of the precedents because they were breaking all of the records for viewership and for attendance.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened is anytime a World Cup went anywhere, that country boomed in business for like 10 years. And socially, everybody was happier than they'd been in like 10. There's like a science study. I don't know how to like quantify what I'm saying, but like,
I see what you're saying.
Everyone just saw so much business come through. All the local businesses are flourished, and everyone feels this sense of pride. Like, oh, we're the shit.
We're hosting like the shit. Everyone's watching this thing. Yeah. They're watching the thing that's in my backyard.
Yes, the world's fucking with France. I live here, dog. Yeah. Like I'm French, dog. Like,
bonjour.
Yeah, croissants for breakfast, man. Come on.
Please.
Yeah. So like that. So that's so much power, dude. I'm talking about like a Peaky Blinders organization. Like me and you had that much power. Like it was just people, and then they started being treated kind of more like a governance because of the way that it was like financial businessmen and professionals that were leading and creating so much business.
Yeah.
Then where it also got kind of weird was they realized that it was easy to change political regimes, or at least I think that in Russia, the scientists that were delving into the human psyche, they came up with the hypothesis that if you took the World Cup to a country for the next 10 years, it would be very easy to have political changeover because of the state that the country was in from having...
They're so elated or so like in a not rejuvenated state, but like I guess ready for like, yeah,
I guess it. The science of it...
Yeah!
Why not? Why the fuck not? It is like that because what it is like imagine you're in a desert for 10 years and then you get so hydrated that you're like
with an oasis.
You're perfect. They're like,
you think everything's gonna be great
all the way to recovery. You're like, why not try something different? Actually, your brain says, let's maybe try something different. I think like in that state of like ebb and flow. There's a natural ebb and flow to all growth and evolution.
Yeah.
So like that was some fucked up shit that they had figured out, right? So then they are like approaching FIFA talking about bringing World Cup into countries where they want to have like political regime change for like even bigger global financial decisions to set more precedents for what we should do with money.
Holy shit.
It's like, I almost can't believe a documentary came out, but they were like the Tower of Babylon. Like it's doomed to fail. Like too big to fail isn't true. Like too big to fail means you will fail.
Yeah.
Guaranteed
so big
to fail.
It has to fail.
Exactly, yeah. Jordan Peterson. My dog. Taught me that one.
So what was the documentary called?
I don't know. Corrupt FIFA.
Okay.
It's like the number 1 documentary on Netflix. Yeah. Recently. If you look up just FIFA on Netflix, it'll pop up.
How did it end? Or like what was like how did it end? Was it like
so they got
FIFA now knows that they're fucked up and we caught them being fucked up, so now they're gonna not be fucked up anymore?
So they
at
first it started with like I think they pulled like people out. They were like, this guy's corrupt. They're like, and that guy's corrupt. And then they were like, well, we'll do a new different regime. But those motherfuckers were also corrupt. But the problem is it was all a voting party. So they had the voting party convinced for a while that with this new regime within FIFA, they could still be too big to fail, and people don't really know how big we are. We'll keep that inside so we can keep being a monolith. Mm-hmm. But those guys were also corrupt, and it just kept going until like someone like basically made them do investigations into everything, and then they were like, "This is corruption. What the fuck are you talking about?" And then it kind of got swept under the rug because there's gonna be another World Cup, dog.
Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, wait, I love Messi.
Imagine like if we were talking about the NFL. Yeah. It's like, would there be no NFL after this?
If they just like blew a lid off, it's like, oh yeah, it's all been scripted the whole time. X, Y, Z.
Or whatever, right?
That'd be an outbreak. That'd be, I don't know.
The problem is it's that times a billion because like
soccer's the most popular sport in
the
world.
It's hard to conceptualize. More people love it more than we love football.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Isn't that crazy?
It's like 100 to a million.
Yeah.
Or a million to a billion.
Yeah, and you can play soccer. I guess partially why soccer is the most popular sport in the world is it's so easy to play in regards is like all you need is a ball. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't even have nets or goals, you can like make them out of like chalk
I kicked the ball against a fence for like 10 years of my life.
Yeah, just juggle a football.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, sorry. You see, I'm more...
He's in there. He's a friend still.
Juggle a soccer ball. Just kick it around with your homies.
But I brought up FIFA because sometimes it's easier to talk about something and then something is kind of the same thing. And I just think that like the level of corruption that happened with FIFA, the overlaying thing that I saw was they had a lane that was bigger than anything around them. And then they took that Autobahn and went so fast they crashed the car. Mm. And some people would say, obviously, duh. And like, I get it. That happens to people. But I think, and who the fuck am I, right? But I think to some degree, what it seems to me is that's also what happened with Catholicism, especially maybe 20 or 30 years ago. But the power that the church had to like give God to people, to like, here's the bread of Christ, to like be the spiritual
water
in the community for people. And God knows how bad they were dying of thirst back then. Mm-hmm. Like that, I think that power got abused. I think obviously that power. I don't think that's a bold statement, but it's hard to talk about it. So it's easier to talk about like FIFA like this because I think the same thing happened with Catholicism, and then it makes me sad because I'm like I want to devote my life to Christ. Like I have like I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I think my dad being a pastor gave me the like permissibility to have a different lane where I can pursue something that might be deemed more secular, which would be like hip hop. But it's like I just know in my spirit I'm an artist. Like I could paint you pictures about Jesus, but I want to make Jesus walks. Like that's what I was inspired by.
Yes,
I'm working on making more Jesus walks for y'all.
Yeah.
So like
Jesus is king.
And then I want to have a Sunday service or not. I just want to attend Sunday service. I don't know, but I'm not giving up on church. Like, dude, I cried for like the first 30 minutes. Or there was a 30-minute duration where I was just like so overwhelmed. He could have been like, I love you. And I'd have been like, God, he gets it. He fucking gets it. Like,
he gets me.
I feel like, I was like, dude, you got to get a handkerchief or something, dog. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
Yes, bro. Yeah, I got emotionally. I think it happened. This is the second time we've ever gone to this church. Last week was our first time ever going. And and within both services, I was like, not like sobbing, but like emotionally overwhelmed and like getting teary-eyed.
Yeah, that's more what I mean. I was sobbing.
Getting like touched.
Yeah, for real, dude. Just had me moved. I was moved in the Holy Spirit.
You can truly feel it. But I think that I think I'm able and you were able to truly feel it, but it breaks my heart that some people can't truly feel it.
I was thinking about that too.
Right? It just breaks my like some people could like sit through the same exact service and like the message is not being received. The communication, the two-way communication street isn't flowing in both sides. There's a blockage somewhere or something.
You're right, or something, or something.
Something's happening, and the message is not being felt for like in its full intensity.
What was your next thought down that train of path? Did you think how do I help them, or what's wrong there? Where did your brain go?
I guess I was just saying that in reference to like the message of the church, or like the message of any sermon, I guess in general. But
not that thought, but the thought about there's some people that wouldn't have that same response.
Mm-hmm. I think that, but I guess that there's those people are the same people I'm kind of referring to earlier when I was talking about like I guess like the overall message not being received. But I guess I'm not sure it breaks my heart. I don't know how to. I think you can't really make a horse drink the water. Is kind of I like jumped the gun, but like I think I've already gone down that path. But I think all you can really do is push someone in the right direction and give them encouragement. And I think you need to give someone the tools and the encouragements to work on their own statue, because ultimately you have to
build your
own shit.
Yeah, you got to build your own statue.
I think psychedelics help people work through their own shit, and I think that not everyone should take psychedelics. I don't think everyone should just go willy-nilly and just go head first into the spiritual realm like that.
Why not? Hold on, just to quantify for people out there. What would be some reasons? I mean, just because like it's a lot, right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And some people, and yeah, everyone's gonna have a different reaction.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people are mentally weak, and I'm gonna be honest. That's why psychedelics get overwhelming. Like, go run a mile. Go run a mile, and then if you can run that mile and not like suffer, like be a real bitch up here. Like if you can get through that mile, I feel like you can take psychedelics. But like some people, that mile is really tough to run a whole mile. It's like they quit for real. Like maybe wait to take psychedelics because it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna feel like you're running a fucking mile.
As physically taxing as that feels, yeah, psychedelics is like emotionally and like spiritually taxing to some degree.
Yes.
I think so. I think mushrooms, I don't know. I have a different kind of personal experience with LSD versus mushrooms as far as psychedelic reaction. But I guess because mushrooms is generally known to be more euphoric, more like uplifting, more like everything's great.
That's
because
all.
I think
that's
the truth.
As well.
I think that's the truth. Is that everything is completely fine. The plan is working out just as we planned it. Don't even worry about a thing.
You could think of me
that's
now.
nice. Yeah, and that is amazing. But I think sometimes acid could be a little bit more. You're kind of like exploring. You're like an explorer. You're like looking through your past, like your past selves and your past experiences, and you're kind of like in your linear timeline of your life. There's like sometimes like the timeline gets knotted up, and like but you still keep going, and like so like the connection isn't as strong all the way through or whatever.
Yeah. The way I conceptualize that same thing is in my own. I have like a straight line bar, and that's like. I don't know, my timeline going forward. And then sometimes you go through some shit that bends it this way a little bit. And it's like not you could be gaining more altitude more quickly if you were realigned back into that straight linear path for yourself.
Straight and narrow.
So but then like what bends your rod is like your family breaking up or like someone leaving you or like stuff that really knocks someone off their path. Like that's the kind of and then psychedelics really helps. Sometimes you couldn't work through it because you weren't in a place to understand how to work through something when you were 10 years old. So the psychedelics let you like go back in there and deal with it again, or even it deals with it for you. You just gotta hang on for the trip.
Hang on for it sometimes. Yeah. Don't fight it.
Don't fight it. Just seek to understand it.
Seek to understand. Yeah. Understanding. Understanding is like everything, I think, or not everything, but I think it's if you're able to understand everything, then like you're good. If you can understand things like why things happen.
You would have Zen.
Yeah, you could understand nutrition. You could like keep your body fine. You can understand fitness. You could like keep your body fine. You understand relationships. You can keep your family, wife, kids happy.
Yeah.
Yourself happy.
Yeah. I mean, you have the chaos of growth. Like, what don't you know? All right, let me throw that at you. Yeah. So now you can learn because you're doing well.
If you're willing to transfer the unknown into the learning, into the understood, it's like that. That's like a beautiful. That's the most beautiful process we could do. But I think it's chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But it's the hardest thing to do in the world.
It is the most. It's what we're tasked with.
It's what we're doing every day.
Optimal task.
Every day.
We're tasked optimally with the hardest thing in the world. Every day.
Yes.
Do the impossible.
It's awesome.
It's the best.
It's perfect.
What else? Because then you can do everything. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about trying to do you just learn how to do everything.
Yeah. It's
bigger than anyone. Like it would be exhausting to learn how to do one thing. It's like learn how to do everything. Because there's metaphysical working hard works everywhere.
Yes, learn how to work hard because that will transfer into any and everything you do.
Learning how to work backwards from the end.
Yeah,
what's that called?
Engineering.
Reverse engineering works with everything.
Yeah.
There's meta skills that you can learn how to. Also, like how to be new somewhere. It's like not difficult to learn how to do. There's a lot of places you'll be new, but you can learn how to be new somewhere once.
Yeah, and just keep the truths in that situation because I guess if you're new somewhere versus other places, the environment's different, the staff is different, the whatever is different, the narrative's different, the hierarchy's different.
Political sway.
But there are going to be things that are transferable to every single new situation, no matter what.
Yep.
It's like you're gonna need to be off the jump. Be kind to people. I would advise. Don't be looking for fights. It's not prison.
Make a good impression.
Yeah.
Make a good impression. Come on, like.
My first thought was like, I remember the Longest Yard scene where Chris Rock is like, "Don't be someone's bitch in here." And Adam Sandler's like, "Okay." Lunch tray to the back of the head.
Oh man, I lost our sound for that.
So I think that's also a good first impression, but that's also kind of backwards. The same thought of to be new somewhere is you need to establish yourself, and in some new places, you should just establish yourself as kind. Well, easy to work with, not going to be like unnecessarily confrontational, but not a doormat. Someone who could like stand their wind. Someone who's not going to be a yes man either. Don't be overly nice to people. Nope. But don't be an asshole to people.
Yep.
But like I guess if you're a new person on a new team, you should probably be
more conservative.
A little more. I think. I guess I was thinking like if you're going to be like a new linebacker, like a new school. It's like,
Okay.
I hit hard. That new kid hits hard.
He hits hard. That's what he's about. Fair enough.
Hitting hard.
I like people that hit hard. We need some of those on our team.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no matter the new situation, the first impression is the thing that's transferable to everything. So you learn how to create a good first impression.
And the other thing, I mean, I don't believe in making a splash play because I think you shouldn't have look at me energy. That's
look at me
super
energy
beta.
is super, it's super beta is the word I want to use.
Saying beta is almost beta. That's why he didn't want to say it because we're locked in. But it's good identification there. I don't like that. It's cringy. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah,
however you want to quantify it.
Look at me.
It's like, bro.
Nah,
I'm a slide.
Nah.
I look for silent killers, bro. I want silent killers and then vocal leaders. Silent killers, vocal leaders.
I love Kawhi Leonard.
Come on, man.
He stole my heart.
You don't got to say much. He's got to get bucks. And I want you playing both ways, offense and defense.
That was another thing I loved about him. Kawhi Leonard, he's a man. Gotta respect him.
Basketball players are dope because they represent ideologies. They represent modes of behavior. I saw a guy with the Derrick Rose case on, and I was like, I just saw Bulls #1, and I went, Derrick Rose. And he was like, that's my guy. And I was like, man, I feel like a couple of different butterflies touch his face differently in his lifetime, and he's got a whole different career, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it breaks my heart. Like, that's what he represents to me, is that, like, just things go different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Almost.
Just a little different.
Yeah. Damn.
And I was like, oh. And then what I said back to, I was like, hopefully he has a more fulfilling life than we could possibly know. Like, I hope that he's in a mental zen that I can't even understand. And I look at his situation and say, damn, what could have been? And he's like, you don't even know.
I know. Or he's come to a full, more understanding place.
That would make it.
He has information that you don't have
exactly
about his life and his experience and his. I guess we're alluding to Derrick Rose. He's a old point guard for Chicago. Kind of played with injuries.
He came in and made a big, like, everyone was excited about him. He got a shoe really fast from Adidas. He was like hotcakes, man. Some people come in MVP and they just steal the show.
Yeah, he was a major player. And I feel the same way about Brandon Roy. I think that happened to him too.
I don't know who that is.
For the Trailblazers.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like
shout out.
He went off. Yeah, he would go off.
Rumble, man.
And then just injuries. Played with injuries. But yeah, hopefully, I'm sure those people have come to it. Maybe they haven't. Maybe that's kind of what we're talking about, is that maybe if you haven't come to like a more zen, fully understanding place, psychedelics can help you kind of unravel, untie, put into the proper compartments, and be at zen with whatever happened in the past. And I think being able to do that allows you to be really present.
It also gives you really big spiritual growth.
Yes.
It'll make you stronger in a way that's hard to conceptualize until you go through it.
Yeah.
And you can try to talk about it, but it's like, it's hard to, like, that's why I'm saying Derrick Rose is probably in a spiritually stronger place than I can possibly understand, which is like mesmerizing to me. I'm like, that's so beautiful. I hope to get there one day, to have to go through something. I mean, I don't want to go through difficult times, but just to look at like what he probably like has done with his mind and with his spirit, just to be okay with that. And I also don't ever think that, I don't think your story gets derailed in a way that you can never overcome, like ever.
Yeah. So
whatever got derailed for him, I think his comeback is bigger than his setback. Still.
I think so too.
That dude, we don't know what's in store for him. Like, there's a way to bend back the walls and to lift the constraints in a way that he might have a casino. I'm just spitballing with you. He could go Ozarks mode and become he could become one of the next sharks on Shark Tank. He could have his own shoe line that becomes bigger than Adidas. It rivals Nike. Like, I don't know what it is for him, but I believe that the spirit of that will call out to him. Like, I know you were hurt, but like, I have a blessing for you. Like, I think that's just the nature of we're never forsaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
We're just not.
Because I think we can, or it's easy to feel that way at times whenever like things fall apart and like the progression of the story just and the pages keep turning and it's like getting worse and worse and it's like, oh shit, we're in like forsaken place, you know what I'm saying? Or like I'm in Shitville right now. That sucks.
I'm in the middle of the suck.
Population me, I'm the mayor of Shitville, dog. Not fun over here. But like I think that moment can be, that lowest low can be elevated to an equally, if not more, enjoyable high whenever you keep going through the story. And then eventually, if you're able to maneuver correctly, like you'll get to a point where you have that super high, and it'll be super high partially because you're able to look back and see, oh, back when I was at that super low point, like that led to this, that led to this, that led to this, that led to this decision, that led to this move, that led to this thing, and now I'm like feeling this crazy elation. And none of that would have been possible without that fuck up. So I think that's why, or that's kind of what I think we're leaning to or alluding to with the idea that you can never forsake it. The stories. I think Shia LaBeouf says I've seen him say it like in an Instagram post I was scrolling through, but he's like it's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end.
My dad said that on the last vacation. It sounds like
it's hard.
It also sounds corny at the same time, but it's not. It's hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
From my perspective in life, that's hard.
For sure. It's the message.
Or
it's the barrier to the message.
It could be, it's corny.
And what's crazy
is a corny pun.
All of these things tie back into the psychedelics that we're talking about too. Like the mode of everything you just talked about happens within psychedelics. You feel the synchronicity between this thing led to that thing, which led to this thing, this isn't random ass chaos.
Isn't random.
No, fuck no. This is tailor made for me. And anytime you're down, it sucks really bad because it sounds specifically worse for you. It's tailor made to suck for you.
It's your suck.
It's your suck, and you're bathing in it because you chose to be there. More or less, that's how it goes most of the time. And for me, in that moment of those transformative places on these stuff we're talking about, I just bear the responsibility. Like, oh, okay, I can end some of my own undue suffering. I'm doing this to myself, dog. And you hate this so much. Why don't you take some of this off of your own plate and develop some discipline, develop some vitality? Like the things you claim to be good at, why don't you actually be good at them and see what happens? Like situation on its head instantly. And then the reinforcements came and there was more synchronicity for me. It was like a rewarding factor. It was like, yes, you listened. Great job. Now we're going to be able to take you to a new book. You just finished Harry Potter book 1. Thank God. Now we can go to book 2 finally. Or you get stuck in that same loop because you never can figure out your own bullshit.
Yeah, the story keeps going, but sometimes you're stuck in the same story. Make a new mistake and elevate to the new story.
Making new mistakes, one of my favorite things I heard from work. That's some wise ass advice. Sometimes it's just like, I always drop a glass because I'm timid. It's like, why don't you drop a glass because you're cocky and see what happens? It'll change your whole fucking mind, dude.
Change the way you're leaning.
For real. And then you find the balance in the middle somewhere, but at least that's what will get you out of that thing that you're stuck in. Also being
broken record.
Yes. Being shy to talk to people. It's like, okay, today I'll talk to one person, and even if I accidentally lack a little social awareness and I should have been more coy, I'm just gonna reach out to talk to one person just to see what it feels like. I'm gonna make a different mistake than constantly not talking to someone because I'm a coy person. That shit's helpful. It just break the mold, break the cycle.
I love that. I think that's kind of what our pastor, one of the points that he had made within the sermon today. He was talking about sometimes you'll feel those nudges to do something that kind of contradicts what you claim to be or what you, at least this far, know to be your personality type. Because what do you know about your personality? You're kind of just living this life, But who's this person that I am? Yeah, psychedelics help with that for sure. But it's like, who is this person that I'm trying to be? I think that, okay, I've lived. Some people aren't even trying to look at life through that lens. But I think everyone, for the most part, kind of knows their temperament. They're like, I kind of get hot-headed when this happens. I'm pretty level-headed when this happens. Part
of life is we yearn to learn ourselves.
Yeah, you're kind of faced with situations that you're kind of forced to learn yourself. Or not forced per se, but...
know yourself. Know your work, player.
Yeah. How do you respond to these different types of situations?
Yeah.
But everyone kind of has a general inkling of if they're extroverted, introverted, a little more reserved, a little more confrontational, or whatever. On the Jordan Peterson has some personality.
Yeah, there's 5 major traits, and then you can be low or high in each trait, and that's a behavior mode will appear depending on where you lie on that chart.
Yeah, so we all think we know our personality, but then sometimes, for myself, for example, I consider myself to be a more introverted person. I think I mentioned this before.
That's one of the 5 major qualities of personality.
Extroversion, confrontation, neuroticism, a couple other things.
Openness.
Yeah, openness is a big one. I think psychedelic. I think regarding openness, on a quick asterisk, I think Jordan Peterson had cited a study that was done where people had taken psychedelics, I guess before and after taking psychedelics, and they're rating themselves on an openness scale or on that personality trait. And then after the psychedelics, all of them had reportedly been more open and a lot more open, and that was sustained over a whole year. So it wasn't a temporary change. It was that you became more open in personality, and then you stayed that way for the rest of your life because this experience changed something in you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Those can do that.
Transformative.
Yes, absolutely. But so with myself, I'm a little more introverted, so I'm not going to be the type to really generate or spark conversation unless it's really we kind of have to, or you know what I'm saying, unless we're doing work or we're having to communicate together to cooperate to accomplish this task or whatever we're doing.
We're playing a game where it's necessary.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, I'll feel there'll be a nudge to do something that's I would deem to be outside of my personality. I'm like, that doesn't sound like something I would do. I wouldn't do that. Or, you know, so I wouldn't ask that girl like, you know, so I wouldn't go, or go to this party. Like, I remember telling Victoria, like, right now, like, for example, there's sometimes life will present you with opportunities for you to do things that you deem to be outside your personality. And I think doing those things that are outside your personality helps your overall personality grow into a more well-rounded person. You know, if you're like super introverted, you're probably not going to stand up for yourself. So I think doing extroverted things might give you some extra confidence to stand up for yourself when it's necessary, even though you're kind of leaning the other direction. But like,
because it builds grit, it builds character. I'm not sure why that works, but it does.
Yeah, I think
getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, or even on the other end of the spectrum, if you're like overly like cocky or overly like defensive of yourself, and like think people are or whatever, it's like maybe you should tone that down a little bit. Maybe you should let other people, you know, have their say and not have the last word all the time. Or you know what I'm saying? Do those kind of
things.
That
expands
to make yourself more well-rounded.
Yeah.
Or I guess well-rounded, or like, cause or as you mentioned with like the bar analogy, it could be like bent one way or another, but ideally you want to be deadlocked more or less. And like things can push you this way, but you can like lean back when you want to, and not be permanently stuck in one direction. Yeah, flowing kind of off and shit. Yeah, but like there was a time whenever I would go pick up our samples from the plant. It was a cement manufacturer that would make cement at the plant, and I would go to the plant, get some samples, take them back to the lab, do some tests. And whenever I would go to the plant to get the samples, there was a guy who was also doing tests on the plant, and his name was Rob. And every time we would come in, I would come in with Charlie at first. I would come in with like my trainer, I guess, more or less. He was like kind of showing me the ropes of how to do all the shit. And he's like, okay, we're going to get the samples today. We go in, Charlie and Rob shoot the shit for 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I literally could have been in and out of here in 30 seconds. But like, they're more social creatures, and like, they're more extroverted. They want to have that conversation and do that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
You know?
I don't know, but I know. But that's not me either. I mean, I'm like that with I like to check in with everybody. I'm like, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're not good. What's up?
Yeah, at work it's a little different.
It'll be all right. You're good.
Yeah, but it's a little different.
But that's it. Like, I don't aspire to sit at the watering hole and talk to people about nothing. Like, I want to talk to craftsmen if they have an interesting craftsman story. Yeah. Something crazy happened because they're at a high level of crafting that doesn't normally happen in everyday life. Or like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be there for people. I mean, that's my selfish side. Like, I feel like that's my wolf I shouldn't feed. I try to be like more open to everybody and talk to everybody about anything they're interested in.
I think that you're trying to be more well-rounded.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm more locked into like, dude, I was 80 hours deep and this thing happened. I backflipped the plane and I hit it 180. I think we can do that when that situation arises. I'm like, start writing that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I'm there for. Mm-hmm. So then I feel bad, like, because I do know the sentiment that you're talking about for sure, where it almost hurts to watch someone talk for 15 or 20 minutes and you're just sitting there like, twice I could have done this. Yeah. 3 times I could have done this. It's just tough.
Yeah, just shooting the shit.
But people,
as if you have a gun full of bullets and you're just wasting them at shooting piles of cow shit. Why are you wasting this ammo?
You had enough time to conceptualize that while you were watching them shoot the shit.
Yeah, I was like, what are they doing? They're shooting the shit. Where's that saying come from? Like, there's wasting ammo right now. What are you doing? Your words are powerful. Oh. Like, we could be finishing all this work that we have to do, but I guess, like, it was a part of their regimen, or like, you know, it was a part of their life, more or less. Like, Charlie would do that every day. And like, but I guess, to tie back into that story, he would do that every day. Shoot the shit with Rob.
Good for his personality. Enjoyed and helped him.
Yeah. They would pass some time, talk, and like, eventually I would just go get the samples by myself. And then I would still shoot the shit with Rob, but I would try to cut that shit. And I would know going into it that I'm about to go shoot the shit. Let me load my ammo. Here we go. What happened in the NFL last week? Talk about the NFL or whatever. Because he does like weekly pick'ems and shit too. So like, that was our shoot the shit talk.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice because, sometimes you know you're going to have a conversation and you're like, you're looking for something so that you don't, because if I'm in front of you and we talk, but I don't have anything to say to you, it's like it's almost offensive or disrespectful. I'm just like, I don't got anything for you today, bro. I just don't fucking, dude, I got a headache. I didn't sleep much last night. I've got a 4-table section. I'm just like already concentrated. Like,
I just want to get in my zone. And my zone is, I'm in my zone when I'm doing the shit. When I'm doing the thing that I need to be doing. Yeah. At least what I claim to be doing.
Because also, there's a flood. It's like, it's going to rain, everybody. It's going to rain, and we have to plug all these holes. So, like, get ready for that. And then for me, I'm like, I want to have, like, my headband on, and I want to have both my plugs, and I want to be in a nice foundational form. And I'm, like, looking. This is
my plugs.
And I just sit. First plug. Pew! Just like that.
No water here.
And it's just like, if I'm not doing that, then I know I'm like ill prepared for the flood.
Yeah. like it's coming.
That's what I'm saying. It's impending.
If we're not getting ready to plug the holes, we're gonna be kind of fucked now.
Or we can be like, oh look, there's water on the floor. Okay, let's start getting that out. It's like that's the thing though, is that that's
proactive or reactive.
Well, that's okay. So I'd rather be proactive because I'm playing for playoffs. I'm working for y'all because I want to own my own business someday. Like that's the mode and mindset I come into work with. Is like I aspire to be an entrepreneur. I'm playing
CEO shit
for a championship.
Chips.
But like other people, like Charlie, that's the counter argument. Is like if they didn't shoot the shit for 15 or 20 minutes, what would we do?
It'd be a dull life, a dull work life, which is most of your life.
I was hoping you'd say we'd be done an hour earlier, and then if I were Charlie, I'd be like, and what would we do? With that hour?
I see what you're saying.
There's not like that's part of like.
I was answering from Charlie's perspective. He's like, I'd have a shitty time at work. Why the hell would I want to have a shitty time at work? I like it. That's how he enjoys himself at work.
That's the thing. And then should we stop him from enjoying himself? I think the workplace
to some degree. If you're doing more enjoying than working.
Actually, there should be like no enjoyment in work, but there should be some. There's arguments, but that's the balance. Is that like no, but a little bit. Like
we're here to work.
We're here to work.
We're here to work.
But the problem is, I think the workplace was kind of built around people transcending what was like $20 per hour. It's like you're doing work that's worth like $100 an hour, and you're doing it at a rate that's faster than 8 hours a week. So can you be nuanced enough to waste some of this time on your own accord, so you don't burn your battery out on us, so that you can enjoy your life here, so that
that was the model with what kind of gave us.
I think like that's the model of the 80s. That's a Mad Men model. I think that's the like, or maybe Mad Men was like the very early version of what happened in like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Is I think that people were getting paid like salaries, but they were really like desk workers, and then they were needed to be like okay with working 50 hours a week in the office place and not like hating their life. So they had like ping pong tables and foosball tables and vending machines and shit. But like when they needed to lock in and do projects, they're like, hey, we need to work, bro. We need to work.
Yeah.
But I don't like that mode of existence. I want to like steady state. Like, let me come in and do my like 1-for-1 tasking. Like, I have a job today. I want to do that job, and then I want to lay my foundational brick, and then I want to go home. But like other people, I don't think it's so. They're trying to live their life. Like, they need the social aspect in their workplace because they're there so fucking much.
So much.
You're there more than you're anywhere else.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, interacting with these people, because that was a lot of their shoot the shit talk. Mine and Rob's shoot the shit talk was about like the NFL mostly, because that was like a commonality that we both shared, we could both talk about, and we both knew about, and we're both interested in. So it's like win-win-win. We could talk about that for a little bit. But with Charlie and Rob's, they would talk a little bit about football. Not really.
Probably like just the Cowboys.
It was mostly about
Medina,
other people, or like other people in the work at the watering hole. You know, it's like, oh, I'll fucking talk about Craig, or I'll talk about fucking Dave, or I'll, like. They're like,
I'm fascinated
it's more
right
about
now.
people, yeah. Or like, I don't know. It was like they were just further perpetuating the social environment.
They're probably like shooting the headlines.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The headlines. That's what they were talking about.
You hear about Dave?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, he's retiring next year, or you know what I'm saying, whatever.
Big position opening up.
They're like, oh man, fucking dumbass, blah blah blah, doing this, making us do this today. Like, god damn.
Yeah. What's the headlines? Yeah. Sometimes it's breaking news.
Yeah.
Other times it's just
like,
like,
got fired. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, he was cheating on his wife.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? That shit happens, bro.
It's the Chiefs, man.
Yeah, for real. So I think that makes sense, because you kind of do need to tap in with people. Sometimes I'm like, I know I keep my eyes open.
Landscape.
Yeah, and also there's like guardianship sometimes. There's like cliques, I guess would be the word I'm referring to.
Yeah.
So like sometimes I want to tap in with people within my clique of like the craftsman people that I'm talking about that I'm genuinely like interested to. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not genuinely interested in everybody else, but I'm saying like that's my clique is the craftsman. So I'm like, I'm like, hey man, I saw this, and this, and I know he cares about the workplace. I know I care about the workplace. So it's like coming from that place of like, we're on a level, we're on a page. It's like, I saw this and I wasn't so sure about that, but I saw this and I really like that. He's like, well, I saw something, so maybe that thing you were concerned about, I think we're okay on that. And that thing you saw about that other thing that you did, like, I saw that shit too. That's fire. Like, let's keep promoting that, and like, you need to tap in so that you can like educate your own preconceptions of what you think's going on, which is important. Yeah. Social aspect of life does help.
Social landscape, I get it. I really do. But so I'm not really extroverted.
I was also interested in thinking about how much of our life is just built to talk about our life.
How much of our life is built to talk about our life?
Yeah, like if we have to work a whole lot, like
we could talk anytime we want. Except for when we're sleeping.
That's true. Like some people get a big truck and it's not so that they can carry a lot of stuff in with them. It's so that they can talk about the engine. Like I think some people's life is so that they can talk about their life. And
Okay, I see what you're saying. Or like someone's in the Jeep club, like just to own a Jeep, but doesn't even really like four-wheeling.
I mean, it's just, I think it's more, I don't know, because if you weren't talking about your Jeep, what would you be talking about? Like you need to bring something to the watering hole so that you can have access to the watering hole. And some people would be too self-conscious to make connection or try to like talk at the water. If they don't have something, they're going to be one of the people that they're criticized at the watering hole. Unless they show up with enough whatever to maintain some kind of status so that they can be a critique at the watering hole. At least a viewer at the watering hole.
Yeah.
But not the critiqued at the watering hole.
Not the critique.
That's a scary as fuck.
Yeah.
That's like startling, you know? So I think some people like, once you, like, I think a socially extroverted person, once they do have that life and they do appreciate the dance of the watering hole, they want to maintain the watering hole and enjoy, like, checking in on Twitter. I'm rich, bitch. I got a wife. I got the truck. I got the job. I got the golf game. I got the cigar in my mouth on Friday night at the varsity football game. We're going to lose, but hey, it's like the Cowboys. I love them.
Yes.
That was like 3 years of like bravado wrapped up into one sentence. But like, and I fuck with that. Like, I'm not hating on that at all. That's like, I appreciate that mode of life. I think it's more kind than sometimes how I feel. I feel kind of icy sometimes.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I want to be. I'm also more introverted as relative to other people. But yeah, I kind of just want to like stay inside of myself. And I look at people like that, and I'm like, look at how he engages with their spirit. Look at like how they're more motivated to be active right now. And I think you build more camaraderie when you're more willing to just say whatever. I don't know. Jump in it with people. Start hopscotching. Like they don't even want to jump rope with you, and you're like, still swinging the rope around both of you. You're like, no, come on, jump with me. Come on, how's the kids?
How's the kids?
Come on. You still doing that dodgeball shit?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, bro. I don't hate on it, but it's also foreign to me as you're describing because, like you said, more introverted than extroverted.
More introverted on that side of the scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all that being said, like I think there are moments where there are opportunities for God to nudge you to do something that is outside of your personality traits. And like, yeah, in this example, I'm shooting the shit with Rob. Not the biggest fan. I don't hate it. I enjoy talking to people. I love the NFL. He's a cool guy.
I'd be so sad if we could never talk to people.
Yeah, talking is great. Talking is great. We could figure a lot of shit out. But yeah, but my shooting the shit with him had led to eventually there was one day where he I don't even know, we were talking about football obviously, and then he had mentioned, I think this was on like a Thursday or a Friday or something, because he had invited me over to his place. He was like, oh, like we're gonna, I think it was on a Saturday because they were watching college football. So he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go. I'm having some people over doing a little barbecue, just watching doing the social thing outside of work, you know. Some of my neighbors, some of the coworkers, we're just hanging out, grilling, drinking, talking football, watching football.
And a raw moment of honesty, does that sound fun to you on base level?
Not particularly.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'll say it. No. I want to go home.
I don't know this guy. Yeah, that's the thing. If it was you or like one of your homies, of course, that's lock it in. But like, yeah, I don't like. We're just, I don't know. We're kind of just like social work friends. You know what I'm saying?
And not in a rude way.
Not in a rude way at all. Love them to death.
I also just need to love myself.
Yeah.
I've seen you more than I've seen myself lately, dog.
Yeah, and then I guess if I had a girlfriend at the time, it probably would have been easier to just go. You know what I'm saying? Because especially because going by yourself somewhere is a whole nother thing. Especially for an introvert.
Okay, but then describe
completely by yourself.
Describe what you're describing. Why would it be easier with a girlfriend?
Or with anybody really, you know what I'm saying? Just because as long as you're with somebody else, you're not alone, and you know what I'm saying. Like, I guess having someone else to bounce this reality off of with, you know, I think it's because I'm tripping. Am I valid in tripping?
Yeah.
No? Okay, I'm good.
Instead of now, you are doing that.
Yeah.
Like you were gonna have to go do that, but now you're doing this. And y'all are going to go do that. Yes. That's not so hard.
Big difference.
It's a huge difference.
Big difference. Yeah, if you have like a homie to go with or a girlfriend to go with or a boyfriend to go with.
Because you can kind of make commentary on the experience together. Yeah. And that's different than just having to experience it alone.
Completely by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had invited me to just go over and chill. And like, I felt the God nudge, like the pastor was talking about. Just like, just go. Why not? Just go. Like, what's it going to hurt, more or less? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just don't want to go. Like, I'd rather be chilling. Doing what I want to do on a Saturday, which is like nothing. At that time,
we have all felt that.
Just fucking chilling.
We've all felt that.
But I want to choose to do my own nothing. Don't make me do something. I want to choose nothing if I want to choose nothing.
Yeah, I want like unobligated nothingness. Yes. I don't want to feel bad because I'm doing nothing. This is my freedom to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We love doing nothing. I think guys especially love doing nothing sometimes.
Dude, sitting on the couch, I just got emotional thinking about it.
Got an emotional attachment to hanging out sometimes.
Dude,
Just
yeah.
chilling.
I think about someday I'll have all day, and I get a lump in my throat because I think it stems because we know in our spirit we gotta go. We gotta get on that grindstone and press on the accelerator. So our spirit thinks about like, oh, that would be like the reward for finishing the job of being able to put my feet up. Like there's something like at the end of this diet I could have a donut. But like you can't have that donut, and I'm never putting my feet up either.
Never doing it. You're never gonna see me. But yeah, I felt as if back to the story. I felt as if it was like a God nudge, and that was kind of what our pastor was talking about. There will be opportunities for you to do that, to do things that you deem to be outside of your comfort zone. And yeah, I went, and like there was no. It wasn't like I didn't have any like revelatory experiences, or like 'cause sometimes like you'll do the thing that God just nudged you to do, and something crazy will happen. Like some crazy, unforeseen shit will happen, and like some crazy synchronicities will happen.
Or you're just noticeably like, wow, I was supposed to be here.
Yeah, exactly. I was supposed to be here. Like I keep seeing that number. Like that's my number. I keep seeing 38s everywhere, or just like the synchronicity of whatever, just like gonna make you think that I'm in the right place at the right time right now. This is perfect. And like I didn't have any of those moments per se, but I think that partially to speaking on the whole experience of what we're kind of talking about, that sometimes God will nudge you and just you won't be rewarded right then and there. But I think that sometimes He needs to know that you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone, even though you don't want to.
Or maybe if just perspective-wise, same idea, just flip different words. He knows that you will come out, but you need to develop the muscle. You need to develop the nudge listening muscle. Like, you only have level 1 nudge listening, and I've got some level 10 nudges that are going to come your way.
There's a 50 nudge coming.
Dude,
there's a big nudge.
And I need you to hit that nudge. So can you start working on the nudge dance?
Yeah, can you nudge for me?
Just... That's so hard. Baby, can you nudge for me? I'm a black, don't budge for me, baby. Say what's up for me. Hey, show some love for me. Hey. That's pretty hard. I'm fucking with that. So, okay.
But that's an important muscle to build, talking about, or in reference to what you're saying. I think that's like dead on the money, that you need to build that muscle or build that stat in this video game that it is life, because there will be higher level nudges that are more beneficial that you should. Or if you don't have the skill, you don't have the skill. If you don't do it, you don't do it. If you don't exercise that muscle, it doesn't grow.
Yeah. And that's just sometimes the question, how would God talk to me? I used to just think that, like, just a philosophical, it wasn't even like perspective of me. It was just like to anybody. Like, how would God talk to me? And the only thing that kept making sense over and over again as I pondered this question was, it would be within inside myself. Like, it would be a feeling. Life is a feeling process. It would be, and when you know, and you can delineate between when you're forcing a feeling and when you actually feel that feeling. And just like, don't force it. And just like, try to keep yourself in that Zen state. And when you feel that nudge and you feel it, you're like, fuck, I felt it. Like, that was really it. Do it. Reward that thing. Like, say, I'm open to that. Just like anything. If you're not open to it, it closes to you. Yeah. Like, no one wants to shake someone's hand that doesn't shake their hand back every day. If someone shakes your hand, if you didn't shake their hand 3 times in a row, they'd stop trying to shake your hand. And I think that's just like anything in life.
You mean like just like walk away or something?
If you were just like...
yeah, fuck that guy.
They would stop, right? I think blessings are like that too. Not that God knows like you, and He gives you like all this weird... All the opportunity in the world. I don't know how He organizes the opportunity, but thank God it's like that. But yeah, I agree that when you stop, if you're not open to something, He's not going to keep knocking on that door forever. He's going to try to find you at a different angle.
Try to go for exactly, yeah. I love that.
And then sometimes you slow yourself down. It's like God's like, man, will you just let me hit the 90-90? Like, it would be so easy if you could just, but okay, we'll do this and then this and then this and then you'll do that.
And then hopefully you're there for me and hopefully you see this thing that I'm trying to point you towards and hopefully you act in the right way. And if not, I'll be there again.
Yes, it's the best. But it gets easier if you develop the
muscle.
Yes, there's a bunch of muscles. The
nudge muscle.
The discipline muscle helps a lot. Zen state, like the ability to be uninfluenced by today. Today's just today. Like, I know who I was last month. I know who I've been all year. And I know who I'm going to be tomorrow. And I know who I am right now. So, like, if today's a little weird, like, that's okay. Most of the time, today's fucking great. And if it's not great now, it's a long football game. We'll see how it goes at halftime. And
get them in the second half.
yeah, the second half team, baby. So, like, I think those things, there's a lot of things that could help you, like, and there's a lot of things that do help me with what we're talking about right now. I don't know. I can't always speak for other people. But there's also, man, what else were we talking about with church?
Oh, I was just talking about, I guess, the nudge, the nudge thing to make you act out of your personality. And I guess, I guess the pastor was talking about don't let your personality be an excuse to not listen to those nudges. I guess in his reference, he was more referring to the nudges of like trying to spread the word more or less. It's like you should be testifying, or we should be testifying. Anyone who's like
you're
found
obligated
God,
to testify.
Yeah, found God, found Christ, is spiritually at a hum that is like such a peaceful hum. Like you need to, I think it's your duty to somewhat kind of try and share that with people, but you can't make someone drink the water. But I think Eckhart Tolle, is it Eckhart Tolle? Oh, yeah, I think it's Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now. He talks about people being beggars, and he's like, anyone who hasn't found the radiant joy of being is a beggar. Or I forget in reference to what, but I think he's just like pointing to the idea that you can find that home. You can be in that state of I found Christ, or like I feel Christ, I feel God. Like I know what it's like to talk to God, or like to have God talk to me.
Yeah.
And to me to listen to him, and to him to recognize that I listen to him and be like, good job, you know?
Dude, I can't even. I've never said this out loud, but I feel like sometimes God kisses my face, and like it's the
right in
best.
the face.
It's beautiful. Like it makes me so just like the best feeling in the world, dude. It's like, good job, and you're gonna keep doing good jobs, and I'm gonna keep throwing you fastballs, and you're gonna keep hitting them out of the park. Today's another good day. I need
Keep
you.
going.
Let's go.
Keep going.
Job's not done.
Yeah, so I think that I guess that was kind of his reference point into like the nudge. The nudge that I was referring to was more like to try and develop your personality in a way that is more well-rounded.
Yeah.
And based on you kind of where you line the personality scales.
Balance is key.
For sure. I think it's a meta truth. But yeah, his nudge was more in reference to the idea that if you feel the need to pray for somebody, or to give someone a compliment, or to hold the door for somebody, or to pick up a piece of trash, or whatever, help somebody out, or like I experienced this the other day in the sauna. I was an introverted person. I don't really create conversation. We're in the sauna, and I want to like. There's only enough room on the bench for like 3 people to kind of sit shoulder to shoulder, and then a 4th person walks in. But then I was in the middle of the bench, and the people on the outsides of the bench kind of like both like adjusted and like moved over, as if to like try to invite this 4th guy in. They're like, we could make we'll make room for you. Yeah.
I found the 4th guy. I'm like, thank you. I want that hot seat.
Yeah.
It's way hotter up there.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, and then like I scooted over, and I scooted over a little bit, and like there was enough space, but like part of me like then like but the 4th guy who walked in, who we were kind of creating the space for, he didn't just like go sit down, you know. And like I didn't talk to him, but part of me, I felt a nudge to be like, you should like tap him and be like, hey brother, like you want to sit down? Like,
yeah.
And like openly invite him.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
like who knows, maybe he needed just for me to do that to him could have put him in a different trajectory for the rest of his day. He's like,
you're so
nice.
right, bro.
How nice.
As you say that,
I didn't do it.
I feel that feeling with you of like I should have done that.
It's so simple. Why didn't I do it? Like damn personality, man.
Man, I've been there. Or it's also like fatigue for me sometimes will be, So I was thinking of, dude, I love that we got here because I really want to bring this up.
Go.
Some mornings I am willing to walk out the door without, one of the important things for me is turning all the lights off, turning the fan off, putting the computer on sleep mode, and making my bed. It's pretty much, it's not more.
Like a typical morning?
Yeah, before I leave the house.
Okay.
If I leave the house and I didn't do those things, I
rushed today.
I
didn't do the things that I think I need to do.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
For me, it's like, it represents all of the corners that I'm going to be willing to cut all day long.
I see. Yeah.
Why am I cutting a corner? It's like, it's 5 seconds to go shut your... But the impulse to say, let's leave it, it's fine. Today's fine. Not today. Why the fuck does that exist? Why the fuck? I don't understand.
Like, I just set my intention to do these things, and now there's another voice telling me to not do these things?
And some days I wake up and it's regimented as it can get. I'm on time when I wake up. I shower. I'm like, good timing. I'll make my breakfast. Good timing. I washed my clothes last night. Let's put them in the dryer. Good timing. I'll walk into my room. Bed made. Good timing. Let's put the duffel up there. Knock it all out. But when I'm behind or I'm feeling rushed, just the impulse to just say, the fan's on. And the fan's kind of behind the TV. It's kind of hidden, so it's just a noise, really. Uh-huh. And I'll be like, it's fine today. I turned it off the last 5 days. It can run for a day. Why? I don't fucking understand why my body...
Where's that coming from?
It's so like, yeah, just get out the door. And I don't know where that comes from.
I think it's like the kind of built-in adversarial adversity. Adversary. There we go. That's the word. The built-in adversary, the shadow link we kind of talked about in the Lost episode.
Well put.
Yeah.
Yeah, your shadow self that is your worst self. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember exactly how we phrased it in the pod, but I remember now. I guess it's the part of you that's trying to like beat you. He's like, oh, he's playing lazy today. He's not playing good defense. I'm gonna get him on the post moves. He's sloppy. He's
gonna lose some spiritual points here today.
Some momentum. His frequency goes from 181. We're gonna take him down to 171, and the the prime event happened at 178, so he does not going to get it today.
Yeah,
Some shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
And I have to say no. Like, put down the duffel bag, like turn around, and then for like this pressure of get out the door, get out the door, get out the door. I have to say nope.
Pause that.
That part's hard.
Yes.
I don't want to do that part. And then I do it, and then I'm in the space. It's like, okay, here's your fucking 30, 60 seconds of floating. And I'm like, turn off the lamp, scroll, sleep, shake, 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 shake. It's literally 30 seconds. And then I walk out the door, and I'm like, what were you thinking?
Why? Yeah.
What were you thinking, kid?
I love your awareness in that. Or like in that situation to be like, wait. I just said I wanted to do these things.
Yeah.
Why am I now telling myself that I don't want to do this?
It was shocking to me.
And I guess you're... Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Just how okay with it. Like, I was giving myself a green pass. Like, don't worry about it today, kid. You've been working hard, kid. You're going to church, kid. It's like,
go in places, kid. Yeah. Keep going, you're fine.
It's like, no, what are you talking about? That we don't leave the house without doing this stuff. Because 30 minutes later, you're going to think, man, I wish I would have done this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not on my shit today.
And then you'll walk into the room later on that night, and into the room that you're like, I should have...
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. You walk right into it, you're like, oh, man. Yeah. I guess I don't feel that part as much because I'm so fatigued. But when I come home and it is made, the up is huge.
The up is way bigger.
I'm like, wow. Man, thank you, self.
Yeah.
I can't believe I get to just pull the corner and get right into like hotel made bed.
Yes.
And it feels so good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's like, I'm looking out for me.
I walk in there, sometimes it's a war zone. God damn, this kid's in war.
This kid's in fucking nom.
We need to get this guy out of here as soon as we can. How do I get anything done?
Yes, bro. I think that's a great recognition. I think that's part of it is that we have that the adversary is trying to break us down or slow us
Entropy.
down or make us not do the things that we say we want to do just to and then I love in this example as well because it uses like a valid argument. It's like you need to get out the door. You need to go. You need to get your day started. You need to get going. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I need to. But this is more important than doing this shit.
Yeah, it is because
It gives you a slightly like a 2 on the importance scale. It's like the one thing is the thing I said I wanted to do and like my intention. But like it's like, well, you could just get away with the 2. It's not the 1, but like the 2 is fine.
I guess because we think hustle is a lot of times the perception of commitment to the task. If I rush out the door, I'm showing you that I'm trying. And most of the time, that's enough. But if you want to really be Kobe or you want to really be Michael Jordan, a lot of people are rushing out the door to try to be them. But not a lot of people are making their bed every morning, bro.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Like, yeah, I'm sure you want to be Kobe. I woke up 2 hours early because I am Kobe. Like, somebody is saying that in your environment. And if it's not you, then recognize. Like,
yeah, I bet that at the 6 a.m. workouts, they're going to go to the gym. Kobe's already there. And like his bed is made. You know what I'm saying? They're like, y'all are rushing to get here, and like I'm really already here. I'm really doing this shit.
And he's counting how many times you checked your phone, and he said 4. He's at a 4 today.
Cheeks,
bro. I'm gonna take his fourth quarter. We'll talk about the 4 times you're on your phone, bro. Like that's because I've just seen the documentaries. Like, and also I feed that wolf. I feel it in myself sometimes. Like I know. I'm able to perceive what the differences are now because I've played the game so much. So I can see how my commitment level, even with myself, when I decided to commit to this level, I rose this high. And then when I see someone who's higher than me on the skill charts, I'm like, how is their commitment? How could they be more committed than me? How are they organizing their commitment so that it's more nutritional and beneficial to what they're trying to nurture? And a lot of times once you know what the up and what the down is, you can see what the gaps are. So like you look at someone that's not making their bed and like making your bed could be anything, but it's like walking in the gym sloppy or like, I don't know how to explain. It's not being just on point, on beat, synchronistically where you're supposed to be, like with respect to everything around you.
Yeah, it's like you're not trying to be like Kobe's not trying to be or Michael Jordan's not trying to be like a great basketball player. They're trying to be the best ever.
That's the thing.
And not even like limiting that to basketball. You know, like I'm not trying to be the best basketball player ever. I'm trying to be the best ever.
The best human.
General. It's like y'all are out here trying to be really good basketball players, but I'm trying to be the best. My best.
The standard of the best.
Yes.
What could possibly represent the best?
What constitutes the best?
You tell me I'm trying to wear that. I'm trying to hug that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that reminds me of a story that I remember reading in Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, where he talks about living in college with one of his bodybuilding homies. And shout out to Arnold Schwarzenegger real quick. That man blew the hell out of bodybuilding.
Just being an icon.
It's so huge now. It's so big. It's crazy. Bodybuilding.com and there's just everyone's working out. Shaker cups are so normal. protein powder is so normal. Everyone hates leg day. It's like a common trope in society now.
Yeah, it wasn't like that,
Don't
right?
skip leg day. Like, I didn't hear people talking about not skipping leg day like 12 years ago when I started working out. Like, it wasn't like that.
It wasn't, but he was like that.
He was like that in the 70s and 80s, and like he just
so ahead of his time.
Spearheaded the movement of like Gold's Gym. You know, like making shit huge, like working out on Venice Beach and being a fucking behemoth. But like part of his autobiography talks about his. I'm not sure if he was in college. I guess maybe he was around his college age in his early 20s, working out with his homies, living in their apartment. I think it was not Lou Ferrigno. I forget his name. But either way, him and his roommate, they were working
I think that's who it is.
Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah.
It might be Lou Ferrigno.
They're definitely tied together in their stories.
Yeah, I think Lou Ferrigno might be his competitor.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was his homie.
Okay.
But either way, like him and his roommate at the time, whenever he was training, they would train together. And also, he had made mention that like their apartment was like clean as hell, and like they only had like one bowl and one plate and one like set of silverware each, and they would just wash it every time. It's like, and both of them were on that shit because it wasn't about being yoked in the gym per se. It was like, I'm trying to be the best. What does the best mean? It's like you're organized down to the shoelace, dog. Like everything is perfect, like up and down, perfect. It's like it creates you're more aligned with heaven. You're closer to God. You're closer to perfection. You're just like, everything is, even like the small things. I find this on my tables too. Like whenever we're working at the so we got to set up our tables with nice white linens, black tablecloth linens for your laps and such. Silverware, glassware, white wine or water glasses, red wine glasses, the whole nine. Candle in the middle. It looks nice. And like, I feel that whenever I set a table, like if it's not, because you can set like the linens all flip-flop, it's not proportionate, it's not symmetrical. But I feel like whenever you do is like line it up and it's like virtually as humanly symmetrically possible that you can make it, like there's something else that goes on subconsciously to somebody who's walking to that table, about to sit down at that table. They're like, God damn, that's a nice looking table.
It's beautiful.
Right? Yeah, it's you don't even recognize it, but you definitely recognize it if it's like a messy table for sure. It's way more obvious. You're like, ugh. Gross. But if it's like perfect, I think it goes way past you, and you're just like, something in your soul is like at ease. It's like, oh, this is perfect here. This is perfectly symmetrical, beautiful. I love this.
That's deep as fuck, and I agree 100%. Something about the frequency of it.
Yeah,
it's like it hums to you, and you hum to it, and you're like, oh, I'm happy to stay here with you. Versus like if it was down and you started feeling yourself go downward, you'd be like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I feel like that's what happens with the frequency of the table. As you arrive to it, like, everything's kind of just, like, charging you. You're like, and then people, beauty, symmetry is beauty. Mm-hmm. So when you see something beautiful, I think it is subconscious in that sense where you just, like, feel maybe just, like, a little bit, like, at ease.
Yeah, something. Maybe not happy, but yeah, definitely at ease. You're just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The trust starts to get developed. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this place is beautiful. Like, they must...
This is well taken care of.
Yeah. They must take... Something like that happens. Like, something
they give
about...
a shit.
Something about beauty just, like, relaxes us, I think. A beautiful painting or, like, a museum, I think, like... I think you take
get lost in it.
Yeah, you take your guard down and just take it in. You're not even, like, aware of what's around you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
You could just get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like, you've been looking at this painting for, like, 6 minutes straight. Like, you haven't blinked.
Or, like, music. I'll listen to the same song 4 or 5 times in a row.
Run it back.
In reality, that was 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, like, because the 6th time, I'm like, all right, I'm getting sick of this. I'm like, why am I getting sick of it? Oh, I just listened to it for 15 minutes straight.
I've experienced nothing else but this. There's so much more life out there. Go do something else.
I have to tell myself that sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
But that's the thing that happens, though. And I think that we should... When you say it points closer to heaven, that's why I want to organize myself and my life that way, because I will aspire for my life to point closer to heaven. Not so that anybody else likes me more, or not so that I'm beautiful in a sense that you guys appreciate me. It's so that, like, my life points to heaven. I have to live this life. Like, I want to get to be who I am. I don't want to be stuck with who I am. And so I need my life to point to heaven.
Yes, please.
Please. Like, I want to be lucky enough for that to happen.
Yeah, pray. Pray you get some wisdom and some guidance and help and some opportunity. Yeah, to do it. That's the thing I think I pray for. I think it makes and Bruce Almighty, is Bruce Almighty the one with Ace Ventura?
Steve Carell? No, you're
Jim Carrey.
I think it's Bruce Almighty.
Bruce is that one, and then the next one was Evan Almighty, right? And that one's with Steve Carell. Yeah. Okay. So I think in Evan Almighty, Morgan Freeman is still God. Love it. He's doing his God thing.
Makes sense.
And he talks to the family. Or I think because, like the family, like, he's having a hard time accepting being this guy.
Role acceptance is difficult.
You're Noah. It's like, what? I don't want this. I didn't ask for any of this. It's like, well, tough shit, guy. You're Noah.
This is what Am is.
Yeah, build the ark for us, please. And like, I guess it's a shout out to that movie. It's a super old movie. If you've never seen it, it's a good movie. Bruce Almighty, I think, is better. The one with Jim Carrey. It's a little funnier. It's a comedy, but yeah,
I thought it hit better.
It kind of talks about just like the meta or not. I guess the abstract idea of like God and like being cursed or being because Jim Carrey in the first one is like kind of upset with God to some degree, and he like is having a bad time. Like he's losing his girlfriend. He's like going through the shits. His job isn't going well. He didn't get the promotion. Evan got the promotion instead of him, and that kind of shit, And he feels like he's forsaken. And he's like, God, you suck. Like give me the reins. And then God's like, take the reins. And he's like, oh, this is way too much. I can't do this. Your job is way too hard.
That was like one of your first psychedelic trips.
Mm-hmm.
Almost the same message.
Yeah, same thing, more or less. But in Evan Almighty, he talks about, I think, like so he's Noah, more or less, and he has to like build the ark for all these people in, I forget what state, it's probably California. But he has to build the ark because like a flood's coming and shit. And then his, like that pressure, I guess, or that being of Noah is like not what he asked for and not what his family's ready for. So like his family kind of like splits. And like his wife like takes the kids and stuff, and then she's at a diner somewhere like on like after they leave, and then Morgan Freeman pops up in the diner, and like everyone's like, oh shit, that's God. That's but she doesn't know she's talking to God. She's talking to Morgan Freeman or whoever the guy is in the movie. Just some random bystander at this restaurant we happen to be at.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what's on your mind? Look, you have a heavy heart or something along those lines. And she's like, oh yeah, just. Sometimes I wish my family was stronger or something like that. And then he's like, well, if you prayed for like a stronger family, do you think God would just give you a stronger family? Or would he give you opportunities for you to make your family stronger, more or less? And I was like, oh, that is how it works.
Would you like muscles?
Morgan Freeman, you bitch. You smart motherfucker. I love it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think that's how it works.
So I think I've heard Jordan Peterson express similar thing. If you want to achieve something, then you must go through struggle to build it.
Yeah.
So anytime you're asking for advancement, you're asking for plight. And I think you should pray for a resource and opportunity. Those are things you can't generate on yourself. Like you have to pray for opportunity.
Yeah.
And then when you're praying for opportunity, it's going to probably arrive in a difficult form. It's probably going to feel like, God, I didn't ask for this. It's like, you asked for exactly this. And that you wanted a starter pack.
Exactly what you need. Yeah. It's like when you ask for it, this is exactly what you need.
Thank God our God's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, because what do we know?
Nothing.
What do we know? We know what we think we know.
We're probably super annoying. It's like all the post-it notes on Bruce Almighty. It's like all the prayers. It's like 80% of these I'm not going to answer because it's not the move.
Come on now. It's just, it's crazy. But yeah, it's a good movie. And I think it's a good, an accurate sentiment of, I think, what you claim to be or deem to be challenges are just opportunities for you to grow your personality or grow your whatever in that direction, or maybe not that direction, but use that as experience to help you in whatever direction you are going.
A lot of that is trusting that life is tailor-made to you, like we said earlier. I feel like we're really convinced of that now, but I remember when I wasn't so convinced of that.
Yeah.
But it's easier to embrace something that's making you more well-rounded if you can understand that it's for you in the future.
Yes.
You probably need to be someone who is rounded by that for whatever's happening to you next, or whatever you'd like to happen to you next. Mm-hmm. It's like great power comes great responsibility. It's like you need to be able to uphold responsibility so that you can like have maybe what you'd like to have.
Hell yes. Yeah, it's crazy like that. It gets deep like that. Man, but yeah, good church service today. Good little church Sunday. Gotta love a Sunday on church.
I was thinking about it's funny that we had church on Sunday to me, and well, that's not funny. That's awesome.
Love it.
I'm so happy that I was able to go to church today.
For the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I hadn't had Sundays off in about a year, and now I have a year. I did a year, and now I have Sundays off. So that's wonderful. Very happy about it. It's crazy to me that we had a Sunday Charge podcast where we definitely want to talk about church a little bit. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I never know how I'm going to do any of this.
We were just freestyling.
Yeah. Very excited to just like get in there and start working. It's like, I don't really know. I'm just going to go hoop,
Yeah.
And I love the contrast with FIFA and stuff like that. It's tight. But it's crazy to me that we spoke about that. And then we also spoke about psychedelics today. And like, I think I don't know if this is a bold statement, but I think there's like a natural tie almost, especially between like the Vikings. There's a lot of people and a lot of communities across spans of time that use psychedelic drugs to have religious experiences. It's like tied into our DNA. Yeah,
I think taking ayahuasca was like the common thing. And like people being shamans or like leading people on these and like doing like sweat lodges like Native Americans.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's been around forever. People in South America.
It gets conflictuous because we're talking about, like, organized religion, and I feel like the organized religion ties into, like politics. My dad was saying that the church was founded, like, the Methodist Church was founded, like, the same year or the next year after our country's, like, democracy got founded. Like, when, like, what's the Constitution of America was, like, written.
1776.
Right? And they were like, let's have a Methodist church instead of just the Catholic Church, too. Like, we're going to branch off and have a Methodist church. That was John Wesleyan.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the, like, order of the church was written, or the organization of the church was written, it was written within mind of that this democracy ideals are the most proper mode of organizing ourselves. We need to have a democracy for our country, and we're going to have, like, a similar organization for our churches. But then the problem is with all the corruption and, like, fall apart with the politics of our government is, like, similar to what happens with the church because it's built with the same structure in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But also with the tie into that is, like, talking about, like, ayahuasca experience, or even talking about, like, I was tentative to just know that we had a tie between talking about psychedelics and talking about church because there's a natural predisposition to, like, push those things apart. But truth be told, like, I think we've talked about how Chance the Rapper is one of our favorite examples of someone who made acid rap and then their next album was a gospel album.
Yeah, more or less.
And I'm not saying that, like, I don't know what it is that I want to say there. The psychedelic, I was always predisposed.
There is a connection?
I think what the psychedelic aims to do is open you up to that spiritual connection that you have inside of you.
Yes, I think we are spiritual creatures. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're spiritual. You don't have to be religious, but yeah, you
just
are.
Like you're a social creature.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Almost the same way as, like, you just are. It just is.
That's part of the game.
And so I think the same way we have kind of biases, I'm like saying the culture has biases towards church for sure. And you have biases towards religion and biases towards pastors and priests and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that the psychedelic allows you to have that spiritual experience without the bias that you attach to whatever you think God is.
Any religious thing.
And that's why I think you stay convinced and open to it afterwards, because you're like, oh.
Like, give a fuck what anyone has to say about anything. I know what I felt.
Yeah. And you probably I become really aware. I'm like, oh, I was not able to see it because I had this thing going on. And I got to work on that in myself. But I should not let that stop me from enjoying this thing about life. And, like, being able to dissect your own biases and go in there and, like, that is what happens is we fog ourselves. Or life fogs us and we don't do the work to unfix it.
Yeah. I think that's the exact verbiage they use in the 4 agreements.
Really?
Or maybe the 5th agreement. But yeah, he talks about like there's like a fog. It's like all this is it's a mirror in front of us, and like it gets clouded. We can't see, like, oh shit, there I am. Like that's me. I'm me. And it's like, oh no, like all this shit's kind of in the way.
100%.
Clouding and fogging.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel it, like, in my bones. And then that's why I want to get a tattoo of a gas mask, is because I want to be able to be in all the cloud smoke in the world and still know exactly who I am and what's going on.
Yeah, hell yes.
Because it changed my life. The ability to be able to see life through that perception of outside of my own biases and understand I'm Matthew who thinks like this because I went through those things, and he aspires to be this guy. And then there's, like, objective truth, and then there's, like, what God aims and, like, what God's about. And then, like, I know it's, like, working back. It's like I have to get through the objective truth of what's happening on the world and then try to find God, like, push through that and then bring God back into the objective truth and back into Matthew. And when I do that, I'm accomplishing my goal as, like, trying to be worthy. Like, just when I'm in pursuit of that mission. And I'm not, like, I'm probably very rarely actually worthy, but I'm, like, I aim to be. I'm, like, trying to do that. That's my agenda for sure, is to, like, push through, find the objective truth, and then push through and find God in the objective truth, and then bring him back out so everybody else can see him too. Yeah. Because there's a lot of fog in there and people can't see it.
Yeah.
And that's been working for me, so I'm not going to stop. Dance with what brought you.
Yeah. Yes, dog. And yeah, I do. Yeah, I could feel that everyone has their own ties to what they think about with church and religion. But yeah, within my own experiences, I mentioned we didn't really go to church growing up. But later on in life, and through hip hop and through these psychedelic experiences, I feel like I think I mentioned this to you before, but like I had a painting, or like someone gave me a painting, hypothetically in the story, that of like this is what God is about, or this is what, like, I guess God was always attached to the church in my mind, and now I've, like, completely separated them.
Isn't that crazy?
Not completely separated as in, like, they're mutually exclusive, but, like, I'm able to see that they're different things to some degree. And so because I always had them tied together, so then like it's like someone were to give me a picture, it's like, oh, this is what God's about in the church, more or less, and I'm like, okay, that's a nice, I get it, or it's cute, it's a nice idea, I get it, I understand. But then like taking those psychedelics, and then after taking those psychedelics and kind of diving through my own shit, and then being more open to like the truth of what the hell's going on, I was like, oh, I don't know anything, and that I don't know anything is kind of reassuring of like, oh, okay, so like I could like rest assured that like I don't know anything, but this is still going on. So like someone's running the show. It's like, thank God this show's running, and like I'm just like kind of a part of it, I guess. So like I guess what's my role here? To be your best in the show in the play of life. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna do that then. But it's I kind of lost my thought on that train.
That was a beautiful sentiment. I think doing your best is everything.
Yeah, well, but so I had my kind of preconception of what church and God was about,
There it is.
and then I was able to develop my own synopsis of what it is about through my own experience of psychedelics and through like hip hop music for real, like Big Sean and Russ and Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole. They talk about like abstract ideas of God and like being connected and tapped in and like being able to manifest your reality through the connection with God and through your intention and your whatever your mind is. And but like so yeah, getting that initial picture of what God and the church is about, and then taking psychedelics and everything, opening up my perspective, like kind of completely 180 change the picture. And then after that 180 flip of the picture, I now understand like, oh, I see, I really truly understand within my own experience. It's like I ate the food. It's like I actually ate the bread. It's like, oh, I'm actually nourished by this.
You mean you drank the water?
I did. Yeah.
When a horse finally does drink the water, it'll change your life.
Yes. When you drink the water, you'll be saved. So you're drowning out, or not drowning, the opposite of drowning. You're dehydrated out there. Yeah. You need some water. And then, yeah, getting those psychedelics and I guess, yeah, also hip hop music really kind of just flipped the script.
It's kind of like, I think hip hop, like a good poem or like good art or yoga even, like touches that part of you that is the everything. Like everything is everything. And that means you get to be in that equation too. So like there's moments in time when you tap into the everything is everything because you do have a role in that. And like it's so zen, it's so peaceful. It's everything. I forgot what we were talking about. I'm at that point too.
No, yeah, we're just talking about the overall joy of kind of just being a part of this play and trying to be at zen with your past and your preconceived notions.
I guess that's the thing that I feel in those moments whenever like the music's hitting, or especially in the yoga, I'm just like really appreciative for like just my own role. And then like more so how I can just like simplify things, like just smooth it out. Don't have so much like spike in my attention to stuff. A lot of times when I just like do less or just like be more concise within myself, like the things around me flow faster. Mm-hmm. Sometimes before I wasn't doing enough when I was growing up. And so I had to find a way to do enough that I became like a centrifusion for the energy to go. But then now I'm at a point where I need to do a little bit less sometimes and just like be in my box and let the energy flow around me because I'm like, I am my sharp unit. And it's like, that's kind of a tough transition, but I feel like the LSD or the mushrooms will like blast you with that perspective. It will like, the acid burn when it clear. Yeah, that's Chance the Rapper. Like it burnt, like sometimes it's a lot to handle, but like in a 20 minutes of the hour long of yoga, I feel like an ibuprofen version of that. And it's just like, just be more still. Everything's okay. And but it's the same medicine that is the sucker punch that
big
is
trip.
Yeah, the big trip. Just sometimes like the yoga's not enough. I think that's why like it's nice to have the big trip and then to do things like yoga in between so that you can like hold those things.
Yeah,
or
and deep meditation.
You could be more traditional and you could go to a revival service, get washed by the Holy Spirit, and then go to church every Sunday so that you remember that feeling when you were revived. And then every now and then there's that sermon that just hits you out of the park. And then in your everyday life, when you're being a witness and you're testifying and things are going well for you and you're becoming supercharged, that's like your proof is in your souffle. Please throw me my bouquets. Like I'm convinced. Like I'm good. Like I don't really need to. Like the basic service makes me want to cry now. I don't need to go to revival so that I can get this supercharged feeling. It's because like there's something that happens. Like I don't need to take the big mushroom dose per se to know like I'm chosen in that sense.
Yeah.
Like
at that one time, I felt it.
Yeah, and I do think maybe it helps to supercharge the hot block. Like I think I know people that need to get their hot block supercharged because there's like some decrepit decay, some dead wood that became the hole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to burn when I clean you.
Yeah, it's like the deadwood's being like, or like the new is trying to grow in through the deadwood. So the only way to get the deadwood out is like to rip out some of the new.
Oh,
Rough.
that's like negative.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of, or Chance was talking about. Or I guess the acid does burn when it clean you.
Yeah.
But it could burn worse if you're not already supercharging your hot block and it's already been grown over with all the deadwood because it hasn't been cleaned out yet. And deadwood is just a metaphor we're using because like in a forest, things die. It happens. Growth and death is just a very natural part of everything. We all have cells in our body that do the same thing. But trees have the same thing going on with them. Their branches die, things grow, things die. And I guess at the bottom of the forest floor, after enough time has passed, the deadwood, the things that are no longer growing, are just accumulated at the bottom of the forest. And if enough of that has accumulated, it is more flammable. So then whenever a forest fire is going to come through, forest fires can be good too sometimes. Just burn off some of the topsoil or, make the soil a little more.
Relative to time, over 100 years, you might have a meadow boom because you had a forest fire. So there's a lot of things going on there. But yeah, the deadwood is, in the metaphor that we're using though, is you need to burn the deadwood so that your new tree can grow further and you can actually be healthy. Mm-hmm. Because the rot and decay is really bad for you.
Yeah, it's covering your ground floor, and the ground floor is what the rain soaks up all the rain.
And within the metaphor of what you're talking about the deadwood overgrowing to a point where it's going to take some of the live flesh too, like I felt that in a psychedelic trip. Like I didn't have like a whole lot, but the way that I had everything I needed. But the way I conceptualized the world was like I have a job, I'm going to school, I have a girlfriend, I have a dog, and I have an apartment. It's like 5 things going on.
That's my movie.
That's my movie, is these 5 things.
This is my cast.
Yes, but I've got a lot of deadwood. I've got a ton of deadwood I need to take care of. I'm kind of trash, actually. I'm ass. I'm not great. And like hopefully you burn the deadwood and these things all grow and flourish. But if you don't long enough, the deadwood gets tied around your relationship with your girlfriend. It becomes who you are at work. I don't think it really affect your dog, but maybe your homies for sure. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Your dogs.
But your dogs might not be like rocking with you. I've had dogs all of a sudden. I'm not sure if I'm rocking with them. I'm like, hey, bro, what are you about? Like, are you starting to be bad for my ecosystem? Mm-hmm. But like, it's rare, especially whenever you're really tied up. You know someone well.
Yeah.
The other examples I listed too, like you could lose those things, like in
the process of trying to remove the deadwood.
Yes, you could lose your job because you were too invested in being the too much of who you were that you needed to correct.
Yeah,
came through into that persona.
Yeah, you couldn't be at this job with the new person, like because the old person's already here within this personality trait. Or I guess I see what you're saying. I think I miscued the metaphor, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and with your girlfriend too. Like if you have just done too much damage, and like you might not be convincing enough to, it might take years for you to get over that shit, and they might be done with it. Like I've felt like the times when it's like, or with my apartment too. There's been times where I didn't have like a whole lot of money saved up because I'm bullshitting, and then I just lost my job because this didn't happen to me, but it could have happened. Like you lose your job because you're bullshitting, and then now you're gonna lose your apartment because you were bullshitting, and then your girlfriend's not rocking with you because you're bullshitting.
Neither your dogs.
Yo, your dog, you probably got your back.
You might got one dog.
God's always got your back, that's for sure.
Never forsaken.
But that's the thing that's scary about it. I felt that when I was like on that deep hallucinogenic trip. I was like, oh, if you don't taper, what happens is you get warning sign, warning sign, warning sign. Bad thing happens. And like you need to adhere to the warning signs before you have to learn more harshly, in my opinion.
Yes, because I think life is suffering. That's a very common, I guess not
accept
common,
that. Accepted.
And
people die.
Accepted Eastern philosophy.
If you in the Eastern philosophy, in Western philosophy, if you can accept that people die and life is suffering, I think you're set.
Yeah, I think it's one of the baseline truths. But I think to go along with what we were kind of talking about is that you don't have to suffer unnecessarily. You don't have to make it harder than it has to be. Burning deadwood already hurts. Don't make it a complete catastrophe.
That's the ideal mode of behavior.
Yeah.
If you make an effort to make it not suck as bad as it could suck, it'll get better on its own. Mm-hmm. Like outside of your control. Other things will help you make it better. If you can do your best to make it not suck as much as it could possibly suck. Sometimes it sucks and you're complaining. Yes. Stop making it worse. Yeah. Nobody wants to do this. If you're smart and aware, everyone knows no one wants to do this. So of the people that are smart and aware and actually doing it, you're annoying us all. It's like sometimes you got to watch out for that too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that really helps metaphysically.
Yeah, you got to keep the grass mode.
Yeah.
Watch out for the snakes.
Man, speaking of things in Deadwood, and it's about the time where our podcast is coming to an end too.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of episode number 3.5, wherever we're at.
3.2?
We're nearing the end. 3.75. I don't know.
I love this.
2.5.
I'm happy to do another one.
Yes. Oh yeah, always. Yeah, we had to call it Omaha, but this was one live on Sunday. We're probably getting back to it on Thursdays. Either way, I don't know when you're listening to this. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go to church. Don't go to church. Listen to us.
Don't listen to us.
Follow us.
Listen to us.
Listen.
Please.
Yeah.
And go to church too. Go to church on Sunday. You got nothing to do on a Sunday. Oh, what am I doing on Sunday? Nothing populates. Here's your nudge. Go to church.
Try it out.
Just try it out.
If somebody asks you to go to church, go to church.
That's awesome. That's it for me. That's my nudge. If someone's like, you like Christ? I do like Christ.
You're about Christ, right?
Are you actively getting Christ? I'm not. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Go, for sure,
not
go.
Not the formal sense.
Yeah,
I play basketball. I was like, well, do you have a team? Well, no. I play at the park.
For sure. So,
come on our team. We ball.
Yes. I highly encourage that. I'm about that life. It's helped me out a lot.
Hell yes. Well, either way, thank y'all again. MJ38 show, MJ38 podcast, MJ38 everywhere. Check it out. Everything's dropping. Love you.
Bye.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might